plumb line to hang the first sheet. The alignment of the following sheets will be based on the vertical alignment of the first sheet. Therefore, using a plumb line to ensure exact vertical installation of your first sheet is critical to the entire installation of the Tac-Wall material. In order to accommodate any irregularities in the starting point or first wall, measure in approximately 47 inches from the starting wall as the point to draw your plumb line. For this installation, we'll use it as our seam line. You'll need to snap a chalk line along your plumb mark. Initially, we'll use this line to line up our material. Eventually, we'll use it as an adhesive line as well. Once we have the material in place, we'll draw a second line using the edge as our guide. We're not quite ready to spread the adhesive, but when we do, you'll want to spread the adhesive in between and top to bottom, but do not go over either adhesive line. In order to maintain even panels on the wall, when laying out the job, avoid using end pieces that are less than half the width of the roll. In order to cut the sheet to fit any irregularities in the ceiling, we're using the divider tool to perform the direct scribe, which uses the divider tool to follow along the ceiling, tracing any hills or valleys in the ceiling, while at the same time creating a scribe mark into the Tac-Wall material. To do this, we must first set a reference mark to measure the distance we drop the piece down. Push the material up to the ceiling so it curls a little at the top. Now, using a piece of masking tape, stick half of it on the wall and the other half on the material. Cut the tape with your knife and slide the material down from the ceiling about a ½ inch, eliminating the curl. Using the divider tool, measure the distance between the two pieces of tape. Take the set distance and scribe along the ceiling while marking the material. Once you've scribed the material, chalk can be used to highlight the scribe mark, thus making it easier to follow with your utility knife. Once we've completed the ceiling cut, we're ready for the adhesive. The recommended adhesive for Tac-Wall installation is L910 adhesive. Material must be installed into wet adhesive. Be sure to spread adhesive one area at a time, and do not try to install more than one sheet at a time. If your adhesive sets up before you get to hang your piece, it can be scraped off. Do not use mineral spirits to remove dried adhesive from the wall. Any wet adhesive spots on the surface should be cleaned off immediately using only soap and water. Dried adhesive can be removed using mineral spirits. Do not use harsh cleaners. Using the injector trowel that comes fastened to the lid of your adhesive, insert it into the slot on the face of your trowel. The blade is a 1/16 inch by 1/16 inch by 1/16 inch square notched trowel. Spread the glue thoroughly from side to side and top to bottom. The adhesive needs to tack up before applying material. Once the adhesive is spread, the amount of time needed for proper setting will vary depending on your surface. To check the adhesive, use your finger and drag it across an inch or two to make sure the adhesive ridges bend and get some transfer to your finger. Again, it's important the adhesive does not get too dry. Remember, it's better to go on too wet than too dry. If by mistake your adhesive gets too dry to install the Tac-Wall, it will be necessary to remove the dried adhesive and apply fresh adhesive. Dried adhesive can be removed by dry scraping or dampening the adhesive with water and then scraping. Do not use mineral spirits on the wall. Before setting the material in place, be sure to position as close to its final resting place as possible. For the best results, avoid repositioning. In order to thoroughly glue the Tac-Wall to the surface, it's important to roll the material using a wall roller. Don't go lightly on this step. Put your weight into it. For working out the bubbles, going side to side is most effective because it is the shortest distance to remove the bubbles. However, you'll still want to cover the entire wall with the wall roller. First side to side, then top to bottom. Cleaning the excess adhesive from the wall at the seam edge is critical to avoiding any adhesive buildup, which will result in an uneven surface, also known as ledging, in your seam. Use a rag dampened with slightly soapy water or just a putty knife to thoroughly remove any excess adhesive from the edge. Cleaning the final exposed edge isn't as important, as generally you'll want to finish it off using wood or plastic trim. For the second piece, we're going to demonstrate the pattern scribe method. Using roofer's felt or pattern felt, rough cut a piece to fit within about an inch of the installation area. Next, cut a couple of triangles to open up a space to tape the felt into place. Once you've positioned the felt, use your straight edge to make an alignment mark on the felt using the reference marks from the first piece on the wall. For the next step, we'll need the straight edge and the divider tool. Using the divider, measure the exact width of your straight edge. Then, use the divider to outline the entire perimeter of the installation area. You'll also want to outline any obstacles such as electrical outlets or light switches. Once completed, remove the felt, which is now going to be used as your template to cut the next piece. Position the template on your next piece of material. Line up the reference marks on the template with the tape reference marks on your sheet. Then use the previously cut triangles to tape the template into position. Using the straight edge used to set the measurement on the divider tool, you're going to trace the scribe set by tracing the installation area. Align the inside edge of the straight edge with the line scribed on the template. Then, scribe the outside edge on the Tac-Wall material and continue following the template around the entire piece. Be sure to remember any of the other obstacles also traced, such as plug points, switch boxes, etc. Once you have the entire piece scribed out using your utility knife, retrace the scribe with the hook knife to make your final cut. Once the adhesive is spread and set, you're ready to install the piece. Hold the second piece up and align the reference marks as tightly as possible. When done correctly, the two pieces should line up perfectly at the reference marks and the seam will virtually disappear. Repeat the wall roller procedure on each piece. Along the seams, use a seam roller. This will force the glue into the backing and evenly spread the adhesive, giving proper transfer of the adhesive. Your installation may include an inside or outside corner. For inside corners, you'll want to use a method called undercutting. This is done to eliminate any binding of two square-cut edges fighting to get into the corner. When cutting your piece, simply angle the knife away from the scribe line, but do not allow the blade to deviate from it while cutting. Finish outside edges using corner guard molding. However, you'll want to use either solid color, plastic, or wood corner molding to hide the edges. Depending on what kind of corner guard you choose will determine how it's installed. Another situation you'll encounter is the stove bar mark. This is caused during manufacturing of the product and is in each roll of Tac-Wall. When drying the Tac-Wall material, it's suspended in large loops in drying rooms. The top loop, known as the pole mark, is cut off and recycled. The bottom of each loop is called a stove bar mark and will appear approximately in the center of each roll. No need for concern. It doesn't in any way hinder the performance or life of the product. You just need to perform one extra step when installing it.